At Gamescom, developer David Wheel introduced his intriguing farming simulator, We Harvest Shadows. What sets this game apart is its dark and moody atmosphere. The story centers around a man struggling with mental health issues. The protagonist, Garrett, has made the choice to leave behind the hustle of city life and society to focus on a small farm hidden in the mountains. His goal is to turn an old, rundown cabin into a beautiful home. Hela has mentioned several times that the game draws inspiration from psychological horror and narrative-driven walking simulators. However, the horror elements in We Harvest Shadows aren't about jump scares or sudden shocks. Instead, the game leans heavily on storytelling, with the narrative unfolding through Garrett's inner monologues and journal entries. Flashbacks also help reveal the protagonist's past. In the game, Garrett spends his days fixing up his house, tending to animals, and developing his farm. He also explores the surrounding areas. As he works on the farm, he earns money, which can be used to buy tools and equipment. There's no official release date for We Harvest Shadows yet, but it will launch first on PC with console versions planned to follow. You've probably already seen the demo of this game. It blew up about a year and a half ago, but I couldn't leave it out of this list. The studio Drama dropped the first gameplay trailer for Unrecord, an insanely realistic first-person shooter filmed through a body camera. It was so real that some people didn't even believe it was actual gameplay footage. They thought it was a pre-recorded video. After watching it, many just couldn't accept that what they were seeing was a real game. Drama had to release another video showing the gameplay running directly in Unreal Engine, pausing and zooming in on small bugs to prove it was legit. In Unrecord, there are no markers over enemies, so you'll have to figure out where to shoot by listening to sounds and paying attention to your surroundings. On top of that, the developers have added camera shake when you move and heavy recoil when you fire, which makes it feel even more real. But it remains to be seen how these features will affect the overall gameplay experience. Unrecord is set to release in 2025 for PC, with no news about console versions yet. Funcom is steadily revealing more about their ambitious multiplayer survival game, Dune Awakening. They recently dropped an impressive trailer that highlights the key features of the game. You start by creating your character, and the story kicks off with your spaceship crash landing on the desert planet of Arrakis. From there, it's all about survival. Early on, players will struggle to find water, avoid dangerous sandworms, and stay out of the scorching sun to avoid heat stroke. As you progress, your resourcefulness and teamwork with other players will help you gather better gear and materials to set up a base and prepare for the harsh desert challenges. The third stage of development in Dune Awakening is where things get even more exciting. You'll be able to go on expeditions, collect high-tier equipment, build a bigger base, and even craft your own ornithopter to explore some of the deadliest areas on Arrakis, bringing valuable loot back to your camp. Once you've gained enough experience and endured the many trials of the desert, you'll have the chance to join one of the powerful houses or even create your own guild. From there, the ultimate goal is to fight for control over the most valuable resource on Arrakis, spice. Dune Awakening is shaping up to be an incredibly ambitious game that could redefine the survival genre, bringing fresh ideas and unique gameplay mechanics. Surviving in the unforgiving desert setting adds a new twist to the survival formula. The game is expected to release on PC in early 2025, with console versions coming a bit later. At Gamescom 2024, we finally got a look at the remake of the original Gothic, a revamped version of the classic RPG. They showed off a gameplay video that lasted over an hour, covering the entire game. The footage dives into different parts of the game, like exploration, dialogue, combat, and other core mechanics. Gothic is a great opportunity to see how the developers approached refreshing a classic. According to those who've already had a chance to play it, the remake stays true to the original's spirit while updating the visuals to fit modern standards. Sure, some people might have expected more cutting-edge graphics, but I'd argue that the most important thing is keeping that legendary Gothic atmosphere and the original storyline. Graphics come second in my book. For those unfamiliar with the story, the game is set in the kingdom of Murtana, which is under attack by orcs. King Robart II forces prisoners to mine magical ore in the Korinis mines. An attempt to create a magical barrier around the mines goes wrong, sparking a prisoner rebellion and turning the area into a lawless zone. There's no exact release date yet for the Gothic remake, but rumors suggest it could drop in early 2025. It'll be available on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox. If you're into survival games, you'll want to keep an eye on Permafrost, a new open-world survival game from developer Space Rocket and publisher Top Lights. In the first trailer, the developers give us a sneak peek at the gameplay and reveal some of the key features. Set in a post-apocalyptic world after 2035, the game takes place in a frozen wasteland caused by a global disaster that left humanity on the brink of extinction. Whether you're playing solo or teaming up with friends, you'll need to adapt to this harsh new reality by gathering resources, hunting animals, building shelters, and crafting essential gear. Plus, you'll have a canine companion by your side to help explore this icy world. Permafrost is set to launch in early access for PC in 2025. The game Greenhawk Platoon, announced by Microprose, is a first-person shooter that brings back those nostalgic memories of childhood toy soldiers we all used to love. In Greenhawk Platoon, players will team up as squads of plastic soldiers to fight for control over familiar places like the kitchen, bedroom, living room, beach, and backyard. The game mixes responsive shooting with class-based combat, featuring roles like riflemen, medics, machine gunners, engineers, rocket troopers, and commandos. You can hop into different military vehicles, whether solo or with friends, to turn the tide of battle, including tanks, jeeps, helicopters, and planes. Players will also have to dodge environmental hazards like house pets, cats, dogs, birds, as well as crabs, squirrels, and rats that can dramatically shift the course of battle. Special weapons and tools will include things like remote turrets, parachutes, grappling hooks, and rockets, creating an exciting and immersive experience. Greenhawk Platoon is set to release in early 2025, first on PC, with console versions to follow. The specific consoles haven't been announced yet. The developers from Good Fun Corporation have announced their upcoming game, Hunger, which is described as a mix between Hunt and Outlast. The game is set in an alternate version of Europe during the Napoleonic era. It's a classic PvP/PvE action game, but with a few unique twists. For instance, the creators have incorporated horror elements, slasher mechanics, and some RPG features to give it a fresh feel. The story revolves around a world devastated by a terrifying plague that has wiped out much of the population. The survivors have taken refuge in a chateau, but they can't stay there forever. To survive, they need to venture out regularly. These raids are filled with intense combat, with the main character having access to a wide array of weapons, including pistols, muskets, grenades, axes, maces, and much more. According to the developers, the game will feature a detailed progression system with around 100 different skills to unlock. It's also been confirmed that the game will be available on PC via both Steam and the Epic Game Store, with early access planned. Unfortunately, the exact release date hasn't been announced yet. Atom Fall throws players into a dark and dangerous world where survival is the top priority. The game takes place in a devastated London, where you'll be exploring the city's ruins, scavenging for resources, and fighting off mutants and other survivors. You play as a former scientist who is searching for his family and trying to uncover the mystery behind the catastrophe. The gameplay in Atom Fall blends action and survival elements. You'll be gathering materials, crafting weapons and gear, and building a shelter to protect yourself from the threats of the world around you. The game features a crafting system that lets you create unique items and upgrade them. Plus, you'll have access to a variety of weapons, from guns to improvised tools. One of the standout features of Atom Fall is its visual style. The developers have nailed the vibe of the 1950s by mixing retro-futurism with a post-apocalyptic setting. The graphics are incredibly detailed, and the sound design adds to the tense and eerie atmosphere. Atom Fall is set to release in March 2025 on PC, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series. Tripwire Interactive has finally dropped a gameplay trailer for their co-op action horror game, Killing Floor 3. The game even got a tentative release window. The trailer shows off a few monster fights, but most of the time is dedicated to an interview with the developers. While that's cool and all, I think we'd rather see more actual gameplay, right? During the interview, the devs revealed that the game is set to release in early 2025 for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. The story takes place in a distant future where you play as a soldier in a rebel army fighting against biochemically engineered monsters created by a mega corporation. The Killing Floor 3 Steam page is live now, and you can already add it to your wish list. In early access on Steam, there's already an intriguing new game called Forever Winter. It's a looter shooter set in a grim post-apocalyptic world where humanity is trying to survive among the ruins of civilization, battling robots and massive cybernetic monsters, some of which tower over the battlefield. The enemies in this world have their own objectives, and humans are just a small part of the ongoing war with these mechanical killers. That's why teamwork is crucial. Players need to cooperate and help each other if they want to make it through. The development team at Fundog Studios includes veterans who worked on legendary titles like Mass Effect, Doom, and Horizon Zero Dawn. At launch, the game will feature 4 maps and 5 playable characters, each with their own unique playstyle and arsenal. Imagendary Studios, led by the renowned and even legendary artist from Blizzard, Wei Wong, has announced its first game, Astropulse: Reincarnation. The game is set to be a single-player, third-person shooter with RPG elements, all wrapped in a sci-fi setting. It's also been revealed that this game will be part of a larger universe that will unfold through comics, short films, and visual novels. Built on Unreal Engine 5, the game doesn't have any release date yet. Astropulse is shaping up to be a massive saga centered around a mysterious cosmic energy called Astropulse, which arrived on Earth with a meteorite over 250 million years ago. This energy dramatically altered the planet's evolutionary process, triggering a global catastrophe that transformed human civilization beyond recognition. As a result, new creatures and entire civilizations emerged, fighting for survival. Amidst all this chaos, the main character and their loyal companions set out on a journey to challenge fate itself. A game called Defect was announced back in March by Empty Vessel, a studio that brought together developers who worked on titles like Doom, Call of Duty, and The Last of Us. Their debut project, Defect, is a first-person multiplayer team shooter with RPG elements, all built on Unreal Engine 5. A bit about the game: it's set in the last city of humanity, where an authoritarian AI controls the police forces and various gangs are rising up against it. Players will compete in matches with 4 teams of 4, each with different objectives like smuggling weapons, taking out targets, and arresting suspects. There's also a cooperative mode to dive into. Once the first real gameplay drops, I'll definitely share it with you. The release of Defect is planned for 2025. In March 2023, the first proper trailer for Project M was released. The developers immediately grabbed attention with a very unique way of promoting their game. At the start of the trailer, a digital version of the company's creative director appears and shares key details about the game. What's really interesting is that his voice was generated using TTS technology, which turns written text into realistic speech. On top of that, they used AI to enhance facial animations, syncing them perfectly with the speech. Project M is being positioned as a highly ambitious game that fully utilizes advanced AI and graphics. The developers describe it as an interactive action-adventure where the choices players make will directly affect the storyline. One of the key features of the game is the ability to alter and expand the base storyline using information gathered during gameplay. So from what I can tell, it's shaping up to be something similar to Heavy Rain or Detroit, but set in South Korea. There's no release date yet, and the platforms haven't been confirmed either. Still, I don't know about you, but the trailer really left an impression on me. Skydance New Media officially announced Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra during the State of Unreal event. The game's title, which had previously been leaked by insiders, has now been confirmed. It's being developed on Unreal Engine 5. At the event, the studio showcased a gameplay trailer, which was fully recorded in real time on the game engine. They also presented a technical demo, highlighting the quality of the graphics and animations, including facial animations. The game utilizes metahuman, nanite, and lumen technologies. The production of Marvel 1943: Rise of Hydra is led by a veteran of the gaming industry, who was the writer and creative director for the first 3 Uncharted games. The story takes place in Paris, with the main characters being Captain America, Soldier Gabriel Jones, Black Panther, and Nana Lee, a Wakandan spy. Despite their differences, they must come together to fight a common enemy, the Hydra organization. As of now, it's still unknown which platforms the game will be released on. At the PC Games Show, a teaser was unveiled for a new survival horror game that challenges players with 3 key tasks: planning, adapting, and surviving. The game is set in 1980 in Walton City, Texas, a place ravaged by an outbreak. Facing off against zombies is just one of the many challenges you'll have to overcome. You'll step into the shoes of the leader of a group of survivors, setting up a shelter, taking care of both the physical and mental well-being of your people, and constantly improving your defenses. However, it's only a matter of time before the zombies break through, and you'll need to find a new place before the horde catches up. During the apocalypse, you'll also have to deal with other survivors. Will you become a ruthless killer, taking away someone else's chance at survival? Or will you extend a hand and try to make it together? The choice is yours. Into the Dead, Our Darkest Days will be available in early access on Steam in 2025. But this October, a free demo will drop on Steam, allowing everyone to try it out. River and Games recently revealed the debut trailer for their upcoming action-adventure game, Eriksholm: The Stolen Dream, during the Future Games show. The game is set in Eriksholm, a large northern city inspired by early 20th century Scandinavia. It follows the story of a young woman named Hana, who embarks on a journey to find her missing brother. This search sets off a series of tragic events. The developers have promised a gripping narrative that will forever change the lives of the characters and the fate of the entire city. Players will explore the vast, dangerous city of Eriksholm, sneaking past guards and coming up with creative solutions to challenging situations. The debut trailer features gameplay footage along with clips from cutscenes. Eriksholm: The Stolen Dream is scheduled for release in 2025 on PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series. Hangar 13 has announced Mafia: The Old Country, a new entry in the iconic crime series. The official announcement was made back in 2022, but so far all we've seen is a short teaser with no gameplay footage. The first real details are expected to be revealed this December, likely at the Game Awards in the first half of the month. What we do know is that the game will be a prequel to the previous titles, focusing on the rise of a crime family in early 1900s Sicily. The developers are promising an authentic experience with a rich storyline. Fortunately, the wait isn't too long. The game is set to release in 2025 for PC, Xbox Series, and PlayStation 5. Mafia: The Old Country already has a Steam page, so you can add it to your wishlist now. The game, with the unique name Kyoryu, is a third-person action-adventure set in a post-apocalyptic Japan where genetically modified dinosaurs have become the dominant species. Players take on the role of Tori, a young samurai Tyrannosaurus who, thanks to genetic modifications, is highly intelligent despite his age. As Tori, players will explore the ruins of human civilization while fending off rival dinosaurs. The trailer showcases the game's Japanese culture and samurai style, all powered by Unreal Engine 5. Unfortunately, not much else is known about the gameplay beyond what's been shown in the trailer. However, the developers promise an emotional story with plenty of in-game reactions. Early reactions to the gameplay trailer have been mostly positive, but there are some negative takes as well. For instance, a few Reddit users found the animation to be a bit jerky, expressing hope that the final version will have smoother and more optimized gameplay. While the game is available for pre-order on Steam, no specific release date has been announced yet. It's confirmed that Kyoryu will initially be released exclusively for PC, but it's unclear if other platforms will follow. The game Hela comes from WindUp, the studio behind Dawn, and is published by Night. They've introduced Hela, a charming open-world game inspired by Norse folklore. The story centers around a kind-hearted witch and her loyal companions, a group of brave little mice. For years, the witch has used her magic to help the locals, but when she suddenly falls ill, it's up to the mice to find a cure and carry on her magical duties. Players take on the role of a courageous and nimble mouse with magical abilities. The game involves exploring an open world, gathering ingredients for potion making, solving puzzles, and engaging in unique magical battles, all set against the stunning backdrop of northern Scandinavia. Hela is currently confirmed for release on PC, with the developers promising more platform details and a release date soon. After 2 years since the release of Goat Simulator 3, Goat Simulator Remastered has been announced and is set to launch officially at the end of 2024. The remastered version will feature upgraded graphics along with all the expansions that were released for the original game. You can already add it to your wishlist on Steam, as well as on the Xbox and PlayStation digital stores. Goat Simulator is a quirky sandbox game where players control a bizarre goat, and their only mission is to cause absolute chaos in a city. So far, Coffee Stain has released 2 games in the series: the original Goat Simulator, which came out in 2014, and Goat Simulator 3, which launched in the fall of 2022. There's no second game in the series, and the developers haven't provided much explanation about that. In their usual humorous way, they describe Goat Simulator Remastered as a remaster no one asked for. However, they promise to maintain the crazy gameplay while completely overhauling the mutation mechanics.